and Bush Chicken. We are in the presence of Clark Edward, two members of the Liberty Party. Clark, welcome to the Bush Chicken.
Thank you. It's for me a pleasure and a pleasure to you.
What do you make of the court's opinion today?
I think the court has ruled, and as per our law, whatever the court says the law is what the law is. We may disagree, but we cannot alter it, we cannot change it. I feel very strongly that Liberty Party produced all of the pieces of evidence it needed to produce. We provided evidence to the effect that the Elections Commission violated the laws that on the conduct of election in our country. They altered the final registration listing less than 30 days to the conduct of the election. That was the first violation of the law. The next thing is that they failed to publish the FRR as required by law. We also proved evidence of fraud where the seal of ballot boxes were broken. We proved that in several places there was stuffing of ballots, which the court has alluded to. But their argument now is that we did not show evidence of fraud.
Sufficient evidence.
Covering almost all of the polling stations.
Yes, 5,000 plus.
I feel that this is a deviation from the standards provided for civil matters. Under the law, civil matters require that you prove a preponderance of evidence, not beyond a reasonable doubt. They are giving us a higher standard. We need to show a trend. A pattern of fraud, which we did, which the court has agreed to. We show a pattern of fraud. Fraud is something that is conducted, carried out under the cover of darkness. You don't expect us to go through all 5,000 plus police stations to discover fraud. No. Okay, that's a higher standard. But again, this is the rule of law. Liberty Party has a history of adhering to the rule of law. We accept it. We move on as a party. And I think what we've done on this date is that we have set a precedent for our democracy and for succeeding generations.
Are you disappointed after months of going through legal battles, Clark?
Well, I'm dissatisfied with the ruling of the court. I feel that we produced all of the evidence, we produced a volume of evidence that was irrefutable, and under our law, any evidence that is not rebutted is deemed factual, is deemed truthful. All of the evidence we produced at the hearing of the Elections Commission, our adversaries only rephrase it as challenges. They did not rebuke or deny the fact that they violated the elections law. They altered the FRR less than 30 days to election. They did not deny the fact that several persons were denied their rights to vote as a result of constraints created by the National Elections Commission. All those things were alluded to. But again, the way of the court is law as per our legal system. We adhere to it, we accept it, but we set a precedent for succeeding generations. What we've done today, whoever wins the presidential election, even for your second term of election, if someone feels dissatisfied, that person will come to court. That's the precedent that the Liberty Party have laid down today. And as a party, we move ahead. We believe that we have contributed immensely to our democracy. We will move ahead and see what happens for the future. But we've laid a precedent for succeeding generations to follow. In the past, there were people who felt aggrieved as a result of elections result. Why did they go? They went to Libya, they went to Bhutto and brought war on our people. Today, Liberty Party feels aggrieved and we've come to the court. And that's the legal remedy that's available. We come to the court. But the law is, the law is what the court said the law is. So we were here. We have no other remedy. This is the final appellate court under our jurisdiction. And it is good that we brought our matter here and we've laid a precedent for generations unborn.
I would like to know whether your party will be pledging support to which party during the runoff.
It has to be a concerted decision. After here, our political leader will be issuing a statement this evening. By Friday, there will be a mass. By the weekend, there will be a mass meeting of stakeholders, talking about county officials, heads of auxiliaries, at which point we'll reach a determination on as to whether we're going to endorse or not to endorse. But I can tell you, Liberty Party will have a say in the runoff elections.
Do you think that your opponents are going to be rejoicing that what you were actually opting for, was not met, sir?
Well, it is natural that when a certain decision favors you, you jubilate. Today there have been scores of Liberty partisans jubilating had the decision here favor us. So the fact that our supporters ought to jubilate is not an issue for dispute.
You look not happy today, Clark.
I'm okay. For me as a student of law, I have an appreciation for the application of the rule of law. And whatever is happening here today is a lesson, for me as a person. So it is not about my personal happiness, it's about what the law is. And if the law calls for a runoff election, we will adhere.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Bush Chicken, we are still at the Temple of Justice, and I have a minute, gentlemen, sir. Hello, sir, what's your name?
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing very well.
What do you make of the ruling from the Supreme Court today?
Excellent, excellent. If you listen to Justice Banks from the ruling, the opinion, I think it's in the right interest of Liberia. It's comprehensive. It touches all aspects. And I think that's the way forward for our country. I'm impressed. And I think this is one of the best rulings, and this case will remain a landmark history in our country.
People said Bronskin was only pushing the case for his own selfishness. What do you make of that?
I want to disagree. I think if you do the research, this is the very first time that the electoral process has been tested to the extent. The Election Commission was tested and went through the process, judiciary-wise. And I think it's a victory for the rule of law. It's not necessarily about Councillor Bronskin, but it's about testing our system. And I'm impressed. I'm so happy. I spent off my time here today, and I think Liberians should welcome the position from the court.
And do you think the judges did an excellent job, sir?
100%. I must commend the bench. They touch all aspects, like I said initially. They touch the Election Commission, they touch the very political party, they caution the public. I think the ruling was comprehensive and holistic. I think that was a wonderful reading. I'm impressed.
What you actually grabbed from the court opinion today?
Today I grabbed that the Election Commission has a responsibility. If you look at the election law, section 2.1, talk about the publications and of Runoff vote update to political parties and to magistrates. They NEC on that responsibility. So the court cautioned NEC and mandate NEC to ensure that the voter roll is the FFR is a cardinal and paramount point as it relates to election matters in our country. So they caution them. They also caution political parties on their pool washer and agents, and their facts should be comprehensive. But from the ruling, the claims of irregularities and flaw weren't overwhelmed. So on that basis, I mean, the court can overturn the October 10 results. So they ensure that we go for a runoff. In so doing, NEC should play her role, have to play cleanup, and political parties, and we should work together and move our country forward. NEC
also said that, agree with Bronskin when he asked Kokoya to recuse himself from the case. And the Supreme Court was in agreement with Bronskin. What do you make of that too?
That Kokoya, because
Kokoya erred for not recusing himself from the
yeah, because he was a party. That excellent. But the court, if you follow the ruling from the judge, they even caution Kokoya to remain silent, commissioner to not just their regular press conferences and what have you. They should focus on doing the electoral work. And I think that's a wonderful landmark case, and I'm highly impressed about the ruling by the Supreme Court, to be quite honest.
What do you think is next for Liberians as we leave from here today?
You say that?
What do you think is next for Liberians as we leave from here today?
What we should do is we should celebrate the rule of law. I mean, what demonstrated in our country in recent times shows that Liberia, we seek redress through the judicial procedure. Going are the days that we will use the street and bridges to vent our anger. And I think I'm highly impressed. We should emanate this rule, seeking redress through the code of law. And I think that's excellent for Liberia. And our country have won democratically. This is the way to move forward, the rule of law.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No, Bush Chicken, we are in the presence of Mr. Augustine Gaffan, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
You just left the hall of the Supreme Court. What do you make of the court ruling today, Mr. Gaffan?
Well, I think what is clear is that Liberia has taken a giant step on the path of the rule of law instead of the rule of violence. And we celebrate the fact that we are talking about the court. We're not talking about the streets. We're not talking about the butchers. So by and large, the party had prayed in alternative. We have said, because we intervened on a case from Liberty Party, who had a singular prayer that elections should be rerun. We had said we had an alternative prayer. Rerun, or if you cannot get rerun, mandate certain things to be done. And so the ruling, to a large extent, jives with our alternative prayer that the Supreme Court has admitted that cleanups need to be done. Without a court case, nobody would have felt the need of a cleanup. The Supreme Court has technically barred the NEC have barred the NEC from using an addendum list. We had issues with the addendum list. The NEC cannot use an addendum list now in a runoff. And the Supreme Court has asked that the final voters' roll should be made available for verification. They didn't do that. So we have achieved through this case some of the very things that we wanted. So we are very happy that law, yes, according to the court, the evidences did not meet the magnitude for a rerun, but we have fallen to our alternative prayer, which is give us runoff and make certain conditionalities.
Is this what you expected, sir?
What?
From the Supreme Court?
When you come to court, you expect the judges to review the facts, and the preponderance of facts. We concur with some of the views in the dissenting opinion, because the Supreme Court has admitted to a cleanup, and we need to find out, and we have proved the magnitude of the problem. So we need now to discuss the benchmarks, the milestones that must be met in order to ensure that those cleanups are done. We cannot leave it unilaterally to the discretion of NEC. NEC cannot come and say we've done cleanup. These need to be independently verified. There are multiple registration, multiple individuals are on the list multiple times. We need to reach a point where you, members of the press and others, are satisfied that those multiple registrations don't exist. So we said earlier that we're prepared for all scenarios. So we are prepared to go to the runoff, but we insist that the cleanups that the Supreme Court has mandated should be done.
Are you going to get in the discussion with the Liberal Party or ANC and that of...
we're in discussion with political parties.
For merger?
That is a given. We are in discussion with almost all the political parties.
Okay.
The details of which will be given to you later. We're in discussion.
But how do you make the ruling? I was not here. Sorry if I'm late.
No, the ruling means that Liberia has taken a giant step on the path of the rule of law.
Sure.
And that we celebrate. We've shown the Liberty Party and the Unity Party, we've shown an intelligent, civilized way to protest results. And this process has been bloodless. This process has gone on maturely. And so for us, we have elevated the rule of law in this country over the rule of violence, the rule of conflict. And so people will take cue from us if there are electoral disputes. And we acted in line with the Constitution. Sure. We acted in line with the Family Declaration. Sure. We acted in line with ECOWAS and AU protocols. Sure. We also acted in line with U.S. Senate Resolution 266, passed on September 25th, 2017, that says that Liberians go to the election, they should, if there are any disputes, they should use the legal process. We've gone through the legal process. I was telling your colleagues, the Unity Party had an alternative prayer. We had intervened on a case from the Liberty Party. The Liberty Party had asked for a singular prayer for a rerun of the process. When we intervened, we said, we are adducing evidence that can justify a rerun. But to the extent, we told the court, to the extent that you cannot rerun the election, and you order a runoff, you should order a runoff and make some conditionalities. And we are happy that we, in all the evidence, in all the ruling, we have proved fraud. Well, the Supreme Court has just said the magnitude cannot justify a rerun. Now, we have proved that the voters' roll and the database need cleanup. The Supreme Court has alluded to that. Had we not come to court, no one would have known that that database is quote-unquote dirty, to use the word of Associate Judge the Cabinet General. So we, through our actions, have zoomed in on dirt, and we will, working with our partners, ensure that the dirt is taken off. There are obligations violations of law. We have problem with the use of an addendum list, where we are gathering that people even use cell phone numbers as a requirement for voting. In some places. Now, through our case, the Supreme Court has ordered that there shall be no addendum list except for security people. So this situation where on October 10th people went to voting booths and people were writing their names, it would not exist, because now people talk about magnitude. As we go to a runoff, one man, if your opponent has one man above you, he wins. Listen to this. So in a runoff, unlike the first round, the reason why this case was very important for us, and we take this as a victory, is that we have zoomed in on some of the actions, the corrective actions that NEC would not have taken. NEC would not have done clean up had we not come to court. NEC did not admit that their database was dirty, that their voter rolls had problems, that there are individuals on the voter roll multiple times. The Supreme Court has accepted that exists. So it was not frivolous clean. So now the Supreme Court has mandated actions. And it is those mandated actions that we will pursue as a requirement for the runoff.
Are you still hopeful of winning the election?
Definitely, we said earlier that in all scenarios we're going to win the election. But we cannot allow the legitimate votes of our people to be cancelled out through fraud and shenanigans. So now that we are going to zoom in on this process, that database, the voters' roll will be cleaned up. Those individuals that voted 3-4 times, it will not happen. And so no one will cancel the legitimate vote of our people. And that we wanted, and that we've got it. And so we're happy.
Thank you, sir.